On this week's episode of An Echo of Glory, there's no Spurs game to talk about, but we get to talk about Chelsea losing a cup final, which is always nice. We have a look ahead to the Palace game, and we talk about Jake's washing machine. Welcome to another episode of An Echo of Glory. I'm Jonny Blaine. Joining me, as of last week, Jake Robson.
Yes, what do you mean as of last
It was
week?
the same team.
Oh, same team.
Yeah.
Unchanged 11.
Unchanged 11. And Jake Saunders, hello.
Afternoon.
You look vexed.
I'm not having a good morning.
What's
to be honest.
happened?
Well, let's get the elephant out of the room straight away. I've cut myself shaving
Yeah,
on the chin. Yeah,
Right.
you can see it.
yeah,
It bled a lot.
right,
It was sore.
yeah.
And the washing machine's broken. So
You're not going to fix
so
that.
I'll see you later.
Shaving before coming on. That's
Yeah.
risky.
Oh, for that reason, I see. Yeah, well, you know.
It's risky.
No,
I'm a
risky.
bit like that on like a wedding or a big something. I'm always like,
Risky.
too risky.
Don't want to do a Jake Robson
I haven't
Yeah,
thought of it
before a
like that.
function.
I never do that. Always got to leave it a few days.
I haven't thought that's one to remember because then nothing can go wrong.
Well, if it goes wrong 2 days before, you've got a little bit of time.
James, have you got beauty podcasts coming out here? Because I think
They're on next,
we just started one. Football and beauty with the two Jakes.
Well, you're normally I'm the odd one out. No, normally you're the odd one out.
What? In what? I can't grow any facial hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
absolutely.
Because Gary obviously is very well blessed. when it
Yeah.
comes to
Beauty
facial
chat needs
hair.
to stop.
Okay, but I'm interested to hear about the dishwasher. What are you going to do about it?
Washing
Washing machine.
Get it fixed
Right.
when we're done.
You're not fixing it.
I wish. Save me some money.
Good little trade to have.
What washing machine?
Podcaster and plumber.
Plumber. Oh yeah.
All right. Well,
Plumbing podcast.
we can cheer you up because Spurs didn't play this
Can you?
weekend. Because
Okay.
Spurs didn't play this weekend. What did you do this weekend, Jake Saunders?
I was at Crystal Palace Burnley.
That's lovely because we're
Very
going to need
good.
that chat.
So we don't just make this up as we go along. Do
I
we?
didn't know that until just now.
And I ran 15 miles as part of my marathon training.
Good grief.
Wow.
So
Doing
it's
a
a
marathon?
busy one. I am.
Okay.
The marathon.
The London Marathon.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And raising money for.
Children with cancer.
Okay, amazing. So we'll stick that up on our socials.
Absolutely. Pod from the marathon.
Good shout. Live.
It's
we go live to
Manchester
Jake,
City at home that day.
or not if we're there
Or
in
not
the FA
if
Cup.
they win tonight and win again.
Oh yeah, I'll come up and
Which-
support you.
yeah.
All right.
In the pub after.
Yeah.
I will not be in a fit state to do any sort of pod.
Gary will have a couple for you. No problem. All right, that's cool. So where did you run?
Just around here, just around local Mill Hill, Edgware, Colindale.
You got to run fast in Colindale, just in case.
Might have to run fast now. You've told everyone where we are.
Jake, get up to anything this weekend?
I was actually at QPR
Against
against
Rotherham.
Yeah,
Yeah.
came from behind QPR.
I don't want to get all, legal here, but I didn't realise about that Elias Chair. He's in a spot of bother. Scored a nice goal though.
He did.
He scored.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he assisted the second goal, didn't he?
I was about
Yeah,
to say
yeah.
there would be a bit more noise if he'd
yeah,
scored.
no, he
after.
said, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No,
check
he
it out in the press. He maybe will be going to jail. Hey,
Maybe.
yeah. The big win for them.
Massive one for them.
Anything else socially? Get up to anything?
I know what you want me to say here.
Yeah, I
don't
do.
you?
Yeah, you do.
I'm going skiing in a couple of weeks,
Uh,
and my ski boots were a bit tight last time I went, so I went and got them a bit altered
You got that's a very posh thing to do.
to get my ski boots fitted. They
Like
weren't fitted.
like
no.
Gaza,
You
you
want me
went
to say getting my ski boots fitted? I have them already. They're not getting fitted.
Went to get your suit measured.
Suit measured.
All right.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened this
See,
weekend.
it's not that funny, is it?
No, but it's very posh.
Right.
Like really posh. Would you have tea at the Ritz after? Or something?
Claridge's.
Okay. I noticed that York City sat their manager, and this is
we go.
relevant to you because you're our Yorks. Having been to York
Neil
Dagenham,
Ardley.
Neil Ardley.
Crazy Gang fame.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's sacked, is he?
yeah,
Oh. I mean, yes, he's sacked.
He gets about, Neil Ardley.
Yeah.
yeah.
He was at Wimbledon for a bit, I think,
Notts
wasn't
County, maybe?
Notts County,
He
yeah,
gets-
Solihull.
There's quite a few.
he? Yeah.
I just thought that was weird because you said they played all right, and anyway, just thought
So
I'd-
far,
But I did-
we've covered beard, York,
yeah,
skiing,
marathon.
marathon.
But I did say that the fans weren't happy. I thought they played well, but the York City fans.
I thought
weren't
that was because
happy.
the price of beer was £6.70.
Nah, don't start.
Okay,
I'll be having. I could have 2 of those on Saturday and pay not that much more.
yeah.
In fact, I will have 2.
We're talking about all this stuff because Spurs didn't play.
We're bored.
But all right, let's do some.
It's more interesting though, isn't it?
Let's do some Spurs news. Should we
Right.
do some Spurs news?
Let's do it.
All right. As you said, we're routinely playing Man City in cup ties this season.
And losing by 1 goal.
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah. The 18s lost 2-1 at Man City in the Youth Cup. They were 1-0 up with 10 minutes to play. This is my fault because I turned it on with 10 minutes to play. And I actually missed their equaliser. Came back and it was 1-0.
I'm quite superstitious like that. I wouldn't. If
You wouldn't switch it on?
switch it on. I'm a bit like that with the cricket.
Even with the under 18s.
And I don't know. I just wouldn't. I'm just a bit superstitious.
Yeah, cricket,
You feel
I
like
get
it's
that.
your fault.
Cricket, if there's a load of wickets tumbling.
No, or if we've got a big partnership going, I'm like,
Right.
I can't switch it on until we lose a wicket.
Because it's your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Bold
all
Sand-
that Spurs
bold
mentality.
Sanders.
It is. That's that Tottenham mentality, unfortunately.
So they lost. They're out of the Youth Cup. The under 21s beat Fleetwood 6-0 at home in the Premier League Cup, round of 16. An 11-minute hat trick for Will Lancashire, which Alistair Gold said was the fastest ever hat trick at the new stadium.
I was trying to think of the hat tricks at the new stadium.
Come on, then.
I don't think Kane got one, did he?
Lucas Moore.
Yeah, Kane got one.
Lucas.
Against who?
No, I don't think Kane did.
At the new stadium?
Oh no, he did. He got one against Maccabi Haifa.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, I forgot about that one.
He didn't get a Premier League. He hasn't got a Premier League hat trick for about his last 5-6 years, Kane.
Maccabi Haifa.
We had Lucas Moore. I got one against Huddersfield.
Yeah, that was just after the stadium opened.
I think that might be it.
Hang on.
Son
Talk amongst yourselves.
did Son?
Moura got one. Didn't he get one against Brighton?
No, Huddersfield.
Huddersfield.
You
Did
just said
Son
that.
get one? Son's got that one away at Southampton.
Was that on Boxing
at
Day?
home.
Hang on. You're saying Harry Kane never scored?
I think he scored one against.
Yeah, he got that's an England hat trick. Another against Moura. He got 3.
Moura.
I was going to say, is that Mourinho? Yeah.
Moura and
Yeah,
no, that was Nuno.
Maccabi Haifa.
Maccabi Haifa. Yeah, and
Flat trap bully him.
so it's Kane,
Yeah.
Moura.
Southampton at home, December 2017 was Wembley.
So he didn't get a Prem hat trick for like 5.5 years, which is a bit mad.
Rubbish.
That's why we sold
Glad
him.
we sold him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take him back though.
So Will Lancashire scored a hat trick. A lot of assists for Jamie Donnelly, including one which was basically an air kick, but he touched it, so he gets an assist.
The hat trick goal, I think, was phenomenal.
Mm.
He put him through and he
Lovely, yeah.
completely left the keeper and defender on the floor.
Was that him or was that Santiago?
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
I feel
thought
like that was the last
Lancashire.
goal.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
they smashed Fleetwood
Brilliant
6-0,
goal.
and I got some brilliant news. Absolutely brilliant news. Man City are not in this competition. I looked it up to see whether
What, they're out? Or
no,
they're
so they
just-
didn't enter. I looked at this cup. It's a bit of an odd thing. Some teams just choose not to enter. Arsenal,
How are we playing Fleetwood though?
they just it was got drawn. So we got out of the group stage and drew Fleetwood in the round of 16.
Must be nice getting good draws in cups.
So the draw for the quarter final is not out yet. There's still some games to go.
So by the looks of it, they probably got every chance of winning it with.
Yeah, there's still some
Those
decent
players.
teams in it. Yeah, they got and they've been
Yeah.
brilliant in
Well,
the
they're
league all
smashing
season.
the league, aren't they?
Yeah,
So.
they got a great chance of winning that. No women's game, but I did see some international goals for Martha Thomas for Scotland and Grace Clinton, who scored on her England debut against Austria. She's not going to stay at Spurs. On loan from Man United, playing really, really well. I suspect Spurs would like to buy her, but Man United would probably prefer to keep her. Did you see Lucas? Was it Bival?
Bergval?
Well, what did our Swedish
Bayerval.
Frida told us
Bayerval.
of Bival? Did you see his stuff on the weekend?
Who's Frida Thomas?
No, what?
Who did you say?
Oh, Frida, our friend of the show.
Yeah.
Frida Fagerlund.
Oh, Frida Fagerlund. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
brilliant.
was going to
goal.
say, tell everyone who she is.
Oh, our Swedish guest who came on 3 or 4 weeks ago just after we signed Lucas Bival told us how great he was, that he was a better Frankie de Jong. And Bival, albeit against...
It's a better looking Frankie de Jong.
She needs to be on more often now. We've got Sweden's 2 best players.
Yeah, she was really good. Did you see it? Yeah. So I really liked his goal, but it was like watching my son play FIFA on amateur mode. Like the opposition weren't up to much, but the pass, he assisted a goal in the second half. I couldn't work out whether he'd like Rabona'd it.
But he passed it like into the 6-yard box. Like you'd never see a pass like that in any sort of standard football.
But regardless,
it was an amazing vision.
I wouldn't even call it outside of the foot. He like completely bent his right foot round. He really does look like a good player.
I think the standard is a bit irrelevant, really.
Yeah.
He's obviously got talent. I'm not saying he's going to come in and do this or do that, but he's obviously really talented, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, don't take our word for it. This is exactly what she said. She said he's literally
he looks ridiculous.
The next coming man, or well, he is a man, but he doesn't. He's very young in Sweden, in Swedish football.
He's like 17,
18.
18.
Yeah, he just turned 18 after the
they did.
And I saw that something to do with Brexit. Man United fans were blaming Brexit.
That's another
pod, the
altogether.
politics pod.
Right.
So
not in here.
But we've got him, thankfully.
something about how they couldn't sign him before he was 18.
Oh, yeah.
And we signed him on his birthday or the day after his
I'm
birthday.
sure it was the Glazers' fault.
Right, it was Brexit's fault. We'll come to the United in a minute. Yeah. In fact,
come to Brexit
very soon. Ryan Sessegnon, he put out a message this morning saying how sad he was because he's had to undergo surgery. We're talking about players coming in by Val. I suspect this could be the end of the road for him. It's another injury. It's going to take a long time. We can't wait.
I feel so sorry for the guy.
Yeah.
No, but there's the reason that I personally feel really sorry for him is that I covered a lot of Fulham in might not have been the season before we signed
16,
him.
17.
He scored. Didn't he score 19
By the way,
goals?
he's really good at dates.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Not
Yeah.
as good as Gareth Dace last week.
We signed him in
Fulham fan as well. Okay. I mean, my dad's a Fulham fan, so they're kind of my second club. But I followed. I had to work at a lot of their games. I think it was 16, 17. Did he score 19 goals, 20 goals, something like that?
He was 16.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
And what people didn't understand that hadn't been at those games or seen a lot of them were that he wasn't scoring. It wasn't goals like this Burival goal. There was a very specific type of goal that he would score. He would turn up late at the back post.
Yeah.
And I won't say they were tap-ins, but he was there to finish basically.
Yeah.
And most of his goals came like that. And I think Tottenham fans thought that we were signing like a tricky winger, and who was going to come and take the Premier League by storm aged 18. And he turned up at Tottenham, I think, when there was it Poch's last season? Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of uncertainty.
He made his debut what's the Serbian team called? He came on and Poch got sacked the week after.
Right.
We beat him 4-0.
So
Belgrade.
You're 17, 18. You're moving clubs. For I don't think it was a big enough fee.
20, 25
for the age of the player. You want some consistency, some continuity, just something. And he's, Poch is gone. It's then COVID.
It's interesting.
He's played out of position.
Yes, but I think
he left back. He was played sometimes. I mean, he played Fulham on the left of a front three most of the time.
And also, I think Ranieri ruined him because he made him a bit more defensive.
He did.
But we had this kind of I look at players like Pinar, who we signed from Everton, and Johnson and Sessegnon, who have come with relatively good reputations. Gary Neville or Carragher was talking about Gakpo during the League Cup final, and he said, I don't know if he believes he should be here. And I wonder sometimes when you come to Tottenham,
that's fair.
whether they believe they should be at a club this big. We get laughed at, lol Spurs. It's a massive club. It's a massive step. I sometimes wonder whether they just can't get their heads around being at such a big club.
I think perhaps that when you sign somebody that young, he probably should have just done another 3 or 4 seasons at Fulham.
That's a lot of seasons. Maybe
but I mean, what are you gonna? How many 19-year-olds?
But certain players sink and certain players swim. You don't all need
They
to.
do,
Look at. I know it's like different, but like Rooney had like 1 season at Everton and then went to United. And
yeah,
I'm not comparing them, but like you don't. He had 2 seasons at Fulham in the Championship, or 1.5. Then a season in the Prem. We'd signed him at 18, 19. He played 150 games. That is a lot of football.
That is a lot
That's
of football.
not 20, 30 games.
But then that has to be up to the people signing to know what kind of personality he is.
I think it's a combination of, the last from when he from when he signed, it's been a shambles. We've been an absolute shambles. With all the managers, with all the injuries, playing out of position. But he's never ever really taken responsibility, as you just said, as a Tottenham player. He hasn't. He had that brief spell under Conte where he was really good against Arsenal in that 3-0, and he was good against Liverpool in that 2-2 just before Christmas. Yeah. But he's never really looked, as you say, he plays like he doesn't feel he should be here.
I think Rooney, though, was at Everton in the Premier League, so it was and
no,
also
I wasn't comparing the two of them. But he came with a lot of minutes under his belt and just never really.
This might be. I haven't even thought about this, but it's just occurred to me. How often do these young signings from like lower down leagues, like really young, actually, you get young players come when you've got somebody that comes through the youth system of the club. Talk about believing you should be there, then it's completely different. If Kobe Mainoo, for example, he's been at United all the way or enough of the way through So then when he gets put in that first team, that's what he's been building to. I think perhaps when you come up from a lower league, then I mean, it's not even that surprising that
I think that a club, ironically, got it really, really right is Palace, and that's the difference between a Palace and an us, because Elise, Eze, Wharton was brilliant on Saturday.
Pressure.
Already,
Wharton's a good player.
It is.
Less
It
pressure.
is. It happened. We had it with Dele Alli. He was a bit of a freak, weren't he? You know, he didn't even play in the Championship, did he?
He came straight from League
He
One.
went from League One to the Premier League, which is a bit rare. But look, you got to feel sorry for a guy like that. His Spurs career has been summed up. He came back for 10 minutes against Burnley, plays some under-21s football to get some minutes, and then he gets...
Yeah, that's a shame.
I assume it's done now.
Yeah,
That's it for him, surely.
I imagine so. Right, no game this weekend for the men's team, but other teams played. United losing was good news. Villa winning wasn't. How do we see the race for 4th or maybe 5th? On this 5th, there's a few different stories about what will happen. I think Opta have done an expected, bit one of the, like their expected goals. They've done an expected qualification, and they expect English
Arsenal
teams to do
City are playing so well. They should, you know. If one of them gets to the final, I think that's good enough, isn't it? Which right now, hopefully Arsenal go out, but you'd be surprised if one of them didn't.
It's also you've got Liverpool and Villa and West Ham as well. And Brighton. It's those competitions.
Wait, the
as well.
others do count?
Yeah. It's not just Premier League.
Oh, yeah,
it's not just Champions League.
So we got a good chance.
Yeah.
Although they did get tough draws.
But apparently, as it stands, it's a
fight between Germany, Italy, and
no.
England.
Apparently, if it finished now or whatever, if as it stands, we wouldn't get the
Would be
5th
third.
spot. Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about it? United were terrible against Fulham, but
We've said that they're you can't play how they play and keep getting away with it. You cannot maintain that. They did it last night on Monday Night Football. The amount of times they concede, 20 shots in a game? It's like every 5 games. You can't.
Yeah, we looked at this on our show as well. They're averaging 16 shots against a game, which is their most since records began in 2003.
It's never going to maintain, even against
But we're similar. We're conceding a lot of shots.
Yeah, but we're pretty good going forward. We score 20 more goals than United, 15 more, so we can get away with it to some extent.
Yeah, United are nowhere near as well.
I don't think you're not. Are you saying? How do you compare us to United? I think United. I've never been that worried about United.
Well, if they'd won on Saturday, they would have gone level with us.
After they beat Villa, I was like, and they didn't play well at Luton.
My prediction was United to finish top 4.
Yeah,
but after about 6 weeks, I thought, forget it. As far as challenging us, I still think a lot of people are still saying that Villa will fall away, and I still think that could happen.
This weekend's quite big. Us having Palace at home, United having City away. We get a 3-point swing there, 6 above them with a game in hand.
Who have Villa got?
Villa have got Luton away, which is not easy.
No.
Villa have still got. We've all got tough runners. We've got a horrible run. I know Villa have still got to play Arsenal away, City away.
Still got to play Liverpool somewhere.
Liverpool at home, the second last game, I think, or third last game. It's going to be tight, isn't it? You probably think right now, after last weekend's results, can't really afford to lose there next week.
You've still got. Obviously, we're going to have to keep at it, but you've still got to think Villa have got slip-ups coming.
But we need to not lose. Hopefully, helped by that they got Ajax away on the Thursday and don't really have many players left.
There's always this.
But it can only. It can't make it any worse for us.
Do you remember when Chelsea played Liverpool in one of their very boring League Cup finals? Went to extra time and penalties, and we were like, we're playing Chelsea on Wednesday. They're going to be knackered. They beat us.
I don't really massively look at that as the only team that it used to affect was us somehow.
Well,
we never used to win on Sundays after European games. But
it's difficult. I remember talking to an ex-player asking, what's the difference between Thursday and Sunday and Wednesday and Saturday? If you're in the Champions League, you're probably playing Saturday.
Thing.
But it's not. You're tuned to your schedule. Will be Wednesday we do this, Thursday we do this, and it has to all change.
If you played Wednesday, Sunday, it wouldn't make.
Well, they're very, they're robotic in the way.
Finely tuned.
Yeah, and they just messes up the schedule. And
they've got a lot of injuries, Villa. I know that they got.
Their defence
at the
finished,
moment is Chambers and Langley for the next however long. So
until they play us, probably.
Yeah. Well, even so.
Is it really? Chambers is back.
Chambers came on against Forest because Torres went off, and they've got Mings out, Carlos out, Konsa out.
How's Matty Cash getting on? Is he out?
He's going to play.
But you know what? Every time I see Langley playing for Villa, it always makes me think of. I always think when it happens a lot. You have a player that doesn't work out at certain clubs, and the fans from that club go, he's hopeless, isn't he? And somebody else looks at him and go, actually, I quite fancy him.
He's got pedigree, Longley, but he's not very good.
But I don't know, though.
I actually didn't
Unai
mind
Emery
him.
seems to be getting a tune out of him, and actually,
He's played for Barcelona and Seville and France, so he must have something about him.
Well, exactly. And I wondered.
Conte signed him.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. But Spurs fans thought he was a load of rubbish. I
thought he was okay, nothing more.
He wouldn't be quick enough, I don't think, to be Angie's first choice, but he's definitely good enough. He's good enough on the ball.
I'm happy with Van der Ven.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't swap him for the world.
No, but when they were both injured, you'd have had Longley coming to play at centre back rather than...
would have helped us more, but we've moved on, thankfully.
He's gone.
Another game this weekend was a League Cup final. You knew that if Chelsea had won... I didn't want Chelsea.
It would have been all about us.
Yeah, it'd have been us. We'd have been talked about more than Chelsea winning it. Because
we would have got more stick than Liverpool for losing the game.
It felt like we'd have lost.
Yeah.
Poch going there, winning a trophy in his first season, didn't win anything with you, blah, blah, blah.
We just don't need the extra noise, do we? We have enough.
And they've now lost 6 domestic cup finals. Imagine if that was us. The noise about that.
I think they've only scored in like one of them or something. They've had loads of 0-0s, 1-0s.
Yeah, possibly too.
They lost to Leicester 1-0. City was 0-0 penalties when the whole Kepa thing. I think they scored 1 goal in those 6, which is a bit mad.
But it's funny because they used to be seen as like this kind of all situations kind of winning machine, didn't they?
Well, they won the Champions League during amongst those 6, which is quite...
Yeah, they did. Did you feel for Poch at all? Yeah, I bet you did.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Wow.
No.
Because he's gone there.
I just don't. I don't mind. Liverpool, one of those teams. I don't mind if they win. So
there was that video, weren't there, of Poch? That little clip of when Van Dijk scored, and you could see Liverpool celebrating in the background. You could see Poch just put his head into his hands next to the advertising ball. Yeah. And I just thought, what an idiot! I thought
you were going to have some sympathy for him.
No, I just thought like you could have come back to us, but even if you you didn't, like you gave up your entire relationship with a club for that.
He couldn't have come back to us because they never asked.
But maybe not. But maybe not. But maybe not just coming back. But like he could have gone to any other club in the world apart from Arsenal and Chelsea, and there would have been never ever been an issue.
We're very sentimental as Spurs fans. Like we cling on to these things. I mean, he's got a career. He chose Chelsea. He can do what he wants.
Personally, I didn't watch the game. Maybe like some Tottenham fans saying, "Oh, I really hope Chelsea get done because I Poch, screw him." But I didn't also think, I'd like to see him win. And also, it looks bad for us. So
I was getting nervous late in extra time.
I felt at times like I was watching a Spurs game.
Yeah, so also, I didn't care to see. I didn't mind seeing Chelsea get done over by a bunch of kids. Who cares about that? Like the fact that Poch was the manager to me was like,
and it's Chelsea as well. Problem. Forget Poch. Yeah. If it was not Poch, we'd all want Liverpool to win anyway. Yeah. Because we don't need Chelsea winning any more than they do.
But I'm a bit like you. A lot of people don't like Liverpool, and I kind of see the reasons why. But it doesn't bother me if they go and win the quadruple. It doesn't. Great for the
doesn't bother me either way. As long
Klopp's
as it's
a bit unbearable at times.
I also, and this may be really sentimental, but I don't know what the word is. Probably not sentimental. I'm one of those people that if there's history to be made, I'd like to see it. Do you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you like to be around to see somebody win? If it's going to happen,
you're only a few seconds away from saying you want Arsenal to win the league.
No. I was about to say I don't. As long as it's not Arsenal, I don't really care who wins what. I mean, Chelsea. I don't really want Chelsea.
I know what you're saying.
And if Liverpool are going to win the quadruple, so be it. I'd love to see it. I mean, everyone talks about.
Is it the quadruple without the Champions League?
Well, that's the
a quadruple.
When Man U won the treble in '99, we were talking about it since forever.
Yeah, but we were all United fans back then, weren't we?
Yeah, because we needed them to stop Arsenal.
Exactly.
Yeah, fine. But I mean, it was a bit more. To be fair, their treble was a bit more dramatic than City's last year. If you think about it, the Champions League final, that semi-final against. But
even the league.
Yeah. Last day we were there.
We helped them win it. Yeah, we were part of that.
Another person who some people hope doesn't win, some people hope do. Harry Kane scored 2 goals for Munich against Leipzig, and late goal, really important late goal. We spent a lot of time on social media reading people talking about Chelsea, Poch, Kane this weekend. Just be nice for us to win something, wouldn't it? Stop channeling our thoughts and hopes into other people not winning things. Can we win something now, please? Obviously, we can't this season, or probably won't this season. I'm ruling us out of the title race right here.
Do you know what? There was something on Twitter I saw last week, and it must have been Monday, Tuesday, and someone tweeted that our trophy drought is now old enough to go and buy alcohol and cigarettes. And I was like, 16 years? That is...
But I remember it like it was yesterday.
No, so do I, but like that was half my life ago.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Also,
I can't even imagine
don't you have
that.
to be 18 to buy cigarettes and alcohol?
Or maybe it was to legally have sex.
Okay. Big up the trophy.
Yeah, you're
draft.
right. Yeah, you're right.
Go on, son.
Maybe it was more explicit than I remember. But it's just ridiculous. I can't even imagine us. I can't even physically imagine us winning something now.
Makes me feel old.
Stupid.
Because I obviously remember the game.
How old were you? 20 something?
20.
You what?
16.
16. Were you buying cigarettes and alcohol?
No.
Well, you
I had a few beers.
I'm not going to
that
ask the
day.
next question. All right. So we didn't play. We're playing at the weekend. We're playing Crystal Palace, a team we always beat. And if you'd asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have said, of course we'll beat them. It's changed at Palace. You were there on Saturday. How was it?
They played against one of the poorest teams.
And then who had 10 men for most of it.
Yeah, but there was a buzz around, and they were.
Well, there better be after the noise they made. The last.
They were. They looked a lot sharper and a lot brighter, and a lot more forward thinking. But if Elise and Eze don't play, that's a poor side.
Yeah.
Mateta, Edouard, and Ayew was the front three, which is not very good. Wharton is brilliant.
Good player.
And Anderson still impresses me every time. I still wish we signed him. And they've got a good couple of fullbacks.
I always think that about
It's
Anderson.
a really positive managerial change for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge them because, you look at it on paper and it's, 3-0. When was the last time Palace scored 3 goals? Probably not.
At home, it's
in fact, they actually did. No, 3-0. 3-0.
Yeah.
They scored 3 goals actually twice recently. I was looking.
Yeah, it was away from home, wasn't it?
No. They beat Sheffield United 3-2 and I think Brentford 3-2.
Right, with 3-0
3-0 was against Arsenal. I put that in my report.
Nice, in big bold letters.
But they played against Burnley for an hour with 10 men, so it's hard to really... And they really struggled to break down 10-man Burnley for 40 minutes.
Right.
Until, one cross, back post header, and then, it was a matter of how many. But
Can I just play you something? We had a friend of the show, James Holland, came on the other week, played under Ange, loves Ange. Check that out on our YouTube channels. I messaged him because he mentioned he played under Oliver Glasner. Is it Glasner?
I thought people pronounce it Glasner.
Glasner.
It's an S, isn't it?
Let's listen to what he had to say about Oliver Glasner.
Hey, Jonny, I figured I'd send you a voice message just a little easier. Yes, so whenever someone asks me about my favourite managers that I've worked under, it's always Ange and Oliver Glasner. He's fantastic. He's a brilliant manager. He's also a brilliant human being. His knowledge of the game is fantastic. His ability to kind of break the game down, simplify it, communicate it. He's a bit like a professor and a really good teacher. He's very clear on what he wants, and also a little bit similar to Ants, not just football principles, but also principles about kind of the team and the team first and all that kind of stuff. And in my opinion, Palace have got themselves an absolute gem of a manager, and one that I think will definitely take them to another level, in my opinion, and from my experiences working under him. I also think if you look at his track record, it's every team that he's gone to has always improved. And yeah, I think Palace have done very well.
Glowing reference.
Good time to play him then.
Good time to play him. But before we talk about Palace, we're going to just chat to a man who was commentating on that game at the weekend. Should we do that?
Let's do it.
Delighted to be joined by Premier League commentator Gary Taphouse. Gary, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey guys.
Hi.
How are you doing? All right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. So we're looking forward to Saturday's game, which you're commentating on for the Premier League and the World Feed. You've seen a fair bit of both sides this season. Let's start with our visitors, Palace. A change in the dugout. For me, a much needed change. You've seen Palace this season. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I have seen a lot of Palace this season, and I agree. I think the fans would agree with you that it was a needed change. I think most of the fans I talk to have had enough of Roy Ball. They love Roy, but they want to be entertained a little bit, and there's been a distinct lack of that. And to be fair, it was a similar story under Vieira as well. Let's not forget how badly that ended with so few goals. And Roy answered the call. It's his club. They said to him, "Please, can you come and keep us up?" And he did that brilliantly. And it felt like the natural thing to do, to say, "Okay, how about one more year?" And perhaps in hindsight, that was a mistake. But hindsight's everything. I think where I agree with what Roy said, and I've spoken to him many times, he has been incredibly unlucky with their best players. Yeah. And the three best players he would point out are Doucouré, who is a top-class midfielder, would probably fit into any team in the league. Got horrendously injured at Luton, obviously out for the season. Eze, who has been in and out of the team with injuries. And obviously Elise, who everyone wants. That was an absolute shambles. Came back from a hamstring injury. As you all know, came on at Brighton, lasted 8 minutes, went off with another injury. When those two attacking players have been in the team, Eze and Elise together, Palace have looked like a really good team. Without them, they've kind of looked a bit like a mid-table championship team. And that's the reality. That's where they are. They need them back. Eze returned to training last week. He's been introduced to the group with Glasner this week. And I think there's every chance he'll play on Saturday. Elise's further away, and obviously Doucouré's out for the season. So real optimism after what happened on Saturday. I think everything needs to be caveated with the fact that it was Burnley, and they were down to 10 men for 2/3 of the game. But actually, even before the red card, Palace were well on top. So I think Palace fans will feel a lot more optimistic now than they would have done 2 weeks ago.
And Gary, what kind of team, therefore, not necessarily playing 11, but style, what difference can Tottenham fans expect on Saturday as opposed to when Roy turned up there last season?
Well, with Roy, it would have been a back four, either 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. With Glasner, he very much always plays with a back three. Yeah. And the wing backs are key to his system. Not only a back three, but those three centre backs, they'll want to release the ball a lot quicker than they ever did under previous regime. You'll really notice this. And obviously, they signed a right wing back from Colombia during the window, and he is very much an attacking player rather than a defender. You'll see him getting forward a lot down the right-hand side.
Munoz, yeah.
He was brilliant.
Yeah, Munoz, exactly. And he settled in really quickly because obviously the club already has Jefferson Lerma. They're great friends, played together in the national team. I think they've kind of helped each other. Interesting that he obviously started with both Mateta and Edouard in the last game, with Edouard out wide. That's something that Roy was always very reluctant to do. And, they created a lot of chances. As I say, it was against Burnley, so no one's getting overexcited at Palace, I don't think. But he's had a full week ahead of this game to work with the players for the first time. So I think this is going to be the first big test, obviously. Palace haven't won there for a very long time, 1997.
I actually remember that game,
Funnily enough, I was there, Jonny. I was there.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was working for the South London Guardian. I was practically a fetus, obviously. It was my first job out of uni. Wow. And I was sent to cover it from a Palace perspective. But I also got VIP tickets for the beer festival at Finsbury Park beforehand. So I turned up really quite hammered. I don't really remember the game at all.
Could I tell you had a much better night than me, because I will never forget that night. And my girlfriend, who is now my wife, dumped me that afternoon. I thought, okay, Spurs will cheer me up. And Neil Shipley scored in a 1-0 win for Crystal Palace. So you had a much better evening than me.
Yeah, it was great. And I managed to cobble together a match report, even though I couldn't remember much about the action. But that, to me, seems like a very, very long time ago. So I'm sure Palace fans feel that they're due a decent result. Obviously, their record at the new stadium is absolutely pathetic. Yeah. So yeah, let's see.
Gary, obviously, lots been made about Spurs this season, but what have you, as an outsider, made of it?
Well, what I can say is that I've really, really enjoyed my trips to Tottenham, which hasn't always been the case. I spoke to a couple of Australian journos before the season started about Postecoglou, and everything they've said has been absolutely spot on, which is that he has a very single-minded philosophy. He won't deviate from that under any circumstances.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of whether it might actually be sensible, he will just stick to those principles. And they said you're going to get a lot of late drama. The first game I went to this season, there was the Sheffield United game. So say no more. And, you know, I think that's one of the games that, listen, I've done nearly 2,000 matches. That's going to be one of the games that I always remember, because it was just, I'm not sure. I know it's happened again since you've had late wins there, but I've certainly never heard that stadium as loud as that.
I don't think
in stoppage time. It was phenomenal.
It was amazing,
and that will really stay with me.
Yeah.
And then I was there again for the Everton game, which was obviously very different.
Clinging on.
You know, the late drama was kind of with Everton going for it. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. You know, like I said, single-minded principles, even in the game like against Chelsea, where with perhaps a different mindset, you could have pinched a point. He thought, no, I'm just going to go for it. And from what, you know, the Tottenham fans I know are absolutely loving it. And like I said, going there is a pleasure. You know you're going to get excitement. And you know you're going to get great football. So from my own perspective, I'm really looking forward to the game.
And that's nothing to do with the good food and good view that you get there either.
Well, listen, the good view is a huge thing. I used to love going to the old White Hart Lane, I must be honest. And I have, you know, I've got some great memories from being there. But the view at the new stadium is unparalleled. And actually, I took my family to do the Skywalk just last week.
Oh, nice.
Because my boys were really keen to do it. And yeah, we just had a brilliant time. My eldest really wanted to do the abseiling down. And I said, okay. And I was just so relieved when they said, sorry, we can't squeeze you in. You know, I was really disappointed, but I was absolutely over the moon that I managed to miss out on that.
We can have a word with the club and sort it out for you. Not a problem. Maybe do it Saturday before kickoff. So just on Glasner, he's been there before with Eintracht Frankfurt. We beat them 3-2. I think Kane missed a late penalty. So he's got a bit of, you know, he knows Tottenham. I think he came out before the game and I remember him saying, we're going to play three at the back, which you've said. Prediction for Saturday, you know, with your neutral hat on as the commentator. Obviously, I think it's going to be a very different Palace that would have turned up, you know, 3 weeks ago. Personally, I think we'll nick it, but where do you stand?
Yeah, it would have been attack against defence before. That's the reality. Palace would have dug in, tried to ruin the game, tried to nick a goal from a set piece or something. This will be very different because Glasner has similar principles to Postecoglou. Obviously, it's very early days and he's not going to do anything wild and crazy with the team. But I think they will try to be on the front foot. I know he hugely respects Tottenham, so it's not going to be all guns blazing, but I think it will be a different type of performance. I think Palace will score, but yeah, I think Tottenham will win. And they'll probably win quite comfortably in the end because Palace aren't at that level at the moment. It's very early days for Glasner. You know, I think we've got to give him time. He's obviously there's going to be changes in the personnel in summer, probably big changes as well. And I think that's when Palace fans are going to start to judge him. But, you know, it just gives us a little glimpse of what he's about. And I think it's going to be really entertaining.
Hope so. It's been a while since we put anyone away, really. Newcastle, sort of mid-December was the last time, but hopefully Saturday, for us anyway, is that day. Gary, thanks for joining us to talk about this. This is not the end, though, of Gary Taphouse on an Echo of Glory. We are going to record a special little Echo extra content on life as a commentator, so people look out for that. Gary, but on your thoughts for Saturday, thank you so much. Enjoy the good food, enjoy the view, enjoy the game, and we will speak to you soon. Good to talk to a man who's going to be in the hot seat right on the halfway line, best seat in the house on Saturday. Fair to call him a proper football man?
Gary Taphouse, proper football man.
Yeah.
Although, is that a good thing anymore?
Yeah.
Being a proper football, I won't go into the list of names, but the people that are proper football men are also the ones that are derided for being over a certain age.
So what are we allowed to call Gary? Just a good guy, which he is.
Used to be able to call him a proper football man. He is a good guy, obviously, and a fantastic commentator, and he loves the game.
He does love the game. All right, we have to lose the other Jake had to go catch a train.
Never fear. There's always two.
There's always two. All right, so it's just me and you.
Yeah.
Dice looking ahead to Saturday.
Yeah. Going to the game. I haven't been to the stadium for a little while.
Too busy skiing.
Too busy. No, not yet. Luckily, we're not actually playing at home when I'm away then, so that's fine. But I can't see anything other than more goals from us. We'll probably concede, a bit like what Gary said. I'm looking forward to it. I'm
really looking forward to it. I look forward to every game at the moment.
You do, though. You do, don't you? You have to. I mean, if you're not going to look forward to it this season, then, forget it.
I'm not going to take away my frustrations from the Wolves game. They still linger a lot. But
yeah, but,
where are you just quickly on there being a 2-week break? We touched on it briefly last time. I think not having a load of games has hindered us a little bit because Emerson and Davies just came in, they haven't played, they look very rusty. Do you think we needed this 2-week break, or actually it would have been? I'm glad we didn't play Chelsea on Friday night without the fullbacks. Would have been better to get straight back on the horse.
Probably, but the fullbacks is an issue, so maybe not in that sense. I also think Ange, the way he wants his teams to play, I think it's probably quite complicated. I don't think it's particularly simple, and I think one of those, I imagine him to be a real training ground manager, as they like to call them. And I would have thought that the more time he gets on the training ground for him is probably better.
Yeah.
So whether it may be not actually as good for the players in practice, but I think in terms of the longer term, I think it's probably a good thing.
Okay. Prediction then for Saturday.
Do we reckon we're going to have Udogie or Porro back?
I think definitely Porro.
I think Udogie, yeah.
Porro was training at home, I think it was, and someone said, I don't want to take Porro out my fantasy team this week, and he replied with a strong arm emoji, don't take me out. So that suggested that Porro...
I'm just reading here, Ange on Destiny, hopefully with no game next week. This was before that's all he'll miss. So if we have them both back, I mean, all the better. Let's see. Palace obviously without Elise. Yeah, goals, Tottenham goals, Palace goals.
You're going to say 3-1, aren't you?
Yeah. It's the Tottenham prediction of the moment. I don't know how many games we've won 3-1, but
I don't think any.
Right, but as I say, 2-1's a bit boring. But I think I fancy us to score 2, maybe 2-1.
We beat Bournemouth 3-1.
Right.
Well, we've kept one clean sheet since October.
So 2-1, 3-1, 3-2.
One of them, please. Don't just list off scores. 3-1.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go 2-0 to Spurs.
Oh, clean sheet.
Yeah, I'm worried. I think we'll beat Palace. Obviously, I've said it a couple of times. It's a different Palace now. We know that. I think we'd have really bashed up Palace's Hodgson's Palace. They looked like they were directionless. Yeah. This will be a different team. He will get them organised. I don't think beating 10-man Burnley has told us anything. They were certainly better offensively. But fine, if they want to come and be offensive, do so, because we'll pick them off. But yeah, I think we'll win 2-0.
The other thing I think actually that stood out to me, I don't want to. It could be a bit harsh. Stood out a little bit like a sore thumb. They want to play 3 at the back. They have been playing. They will play 3 at the back. Joel Ward as the right-sided centre back strikes me as maybe somebody that you can get at. Maybe a bit of a weak link as playing as a 3, a passing. I don't know how solid he is as a ball playing centre back, which no doubt that's what Glasner wants. So
all right,
he'll be getting pressed.
Yeah, hopefully we're impressed.
We will be impressed. I'm taking the wife as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I treat her well, don't I?
Is that a regular? Does she go often? Is she a bok? Every time she goes, we lose.
Is she a bot?
Bot. A bok.
No, she likes to go once a season. I don't know if she went last season, to be fair, because we just had a baby. But I'm pretty sure the last time we went was Palace. Actually, she didn't go last season. It was Palace Boxing Day 2021.
We won comfort. Was that when Zaha got sent off?
Maybe, but Son scored a couple, I think. Yeah. So yeah, she's good luck. Sure.
Okay, good.
Likes a neck oil, like the rest of us.
It's not £6.70 like York City.
Absolutely not. No, really looking forward to it. You're going as well?
I'm going.
Makes a change.
I've been to every game but Sheffield United. What are you talking about?
To be fair, I haven't been to a Saturday 3:00 game for a really long time. So
we've had quite a few.
Ouch.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean it like that. All right, Jake, even though he's now an empty chair.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you for joining us. Had to go and catch a train, as I said.
Jake, what do you think?
his prediction. What would his prediction be? 2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a pessimist like me, so he's going to go 1. But I've actually gone clean sheet.
Yeah, he wouldn't see a clean sheet, and he's not going to predict us to lose or not win. So yeah, 2-1.
2-1. All right, we're going to leave it there. Run out of things to say to you. But what I will say is good luck with your washing machine.
Thank you. I'll be on the phone.
Let us know
before this show even finishes.
Right, we will see you next week, and up the Spurs.